Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Andy and today I'm going to be showing you how to do a very beginner stitch, and that is the single crochet stitch. So all you're going to need today is some yarn and a crochet hook. I am using an H hook or a 5mm hook, and this is just some medium weight yarn, but feel free to use whatever you like or whatever your project calls for. So in order to get started to do our single crochet, the first thing we need to do is make a slip knot. And there's a few different ways that you can do that. Today I'm just going to show you how I do mine. And what you'll need to do is pick up your yarn. So I have my tail kind of facing in on my palm, and then I'm laying my working yarn around the back. And what you'll do is you'll take your pointer finger, you'll wrap the yarn, so tail is in, working yarn is back. You'll work the yarn away from you, wrap it around your finger towards you, and drape it back over. Okay, so let's do that again. So you're going to wrap away from you, wrap it towards you, wrap away, and drape it on the back of your finger. Okay, and then I like to take my middle finger and just kind of clamp it down. Then you're going to take this back hoop right here, cross it over the front one so it becomes the front one. Then I'll take this back one, cross it over, and now we've got our slip knot. So I'll do that for you all one more time. So we're going to wrap away, drape it back, clamp it down, take the back loop, cross it over the front, take our new back loop, cross it over the front, and slide it off your finger. And then what I like to do is just take my hook and then you'll pull both sides to tighten. Okay? And everyone likes to hold their yarn a little bit differently. This is just how I learned. So I kind of weave mine throughout my fingers like this. So it's kind of over my front finger, behind my middle finger, over my ring finger, and kind of down underneath my pinky. And then I hold it like this. So next thing you'll need to do is make some chains, and the amount of chains that you need depends on what your pattern is. If it's a blanket, you might need like 100 chains. If it's something small like a scarf, you might only need like 10 or 15. So for today, I'm just going to go ahead and crochet a few chains. And if you don't know how to do a chain, all you're going to do is wrap the yarn around your hook towards you and pull through. So I'm holding my yarn like this. You're going to wrap the yarn around and pull it through. So go ahead and make however many chains your pattern calls for, or however many chains you want to make. I'm not really counting how many I'm doing now. I just want to work a few up. Okay, so once you have the amount of chains that you need for your project, we're going to move on to the single crochet. So how you're going to do that is you're going to work into the second stitch from your hook. So this right here, kind of what's on my hook and what's attached to my hook right here, this is my first stitch. So my second stitch is going to be next to it, which is right here. See if I can bring it a little closer. Okay. So this right here, kind of this loop that's coming out of this is our first stitch. This right next to it, kind of that V, that sideways V, that's our second stitch. So we're going to want to work into that stitch. So remember, skipping the first stitch, going into your second stitch. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. So all you're going to do is wrap your yarn around, kind of like we did with the chain. Wrap your yarn around and you're going to pull through 1 loop. Okay, and now we've still got 2 loops on our hook. We're going to wrap our yarn around and pull through both of those loops. And now we have our first single crochet. So that's pretty much all you're going to do all along your project. So I'm going to work into this next stitch right here, which is right here. So you can see where you finished your single crochet. See how that hole is kind of big right there, and you can see your stitch coming out of it. So that's the stitch we just did. So you're going to want to move to this stitch next to it. That's kind of tight, hasn't been worked into. Okay, so we're going to insert our hook. We've got 2 loops. We're going to wrap our yarn around, pull through that first loop. Now we've got 2 hoops. Wrap your yarn around and pull through both of the loops. Now we have 2 single crochets. And again, you can tell because you can kind of see these holes right here are a little bit bigger. So next we would work our 3rd single crochet into this chain right next to it. So we're not working into this chain because you can see our stitch coming out of it. You're working into kind of this sideways V right here, okay? You're going to insert your hook, wrap your yarn around, pull through. Now you have 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So I'll do a few more with you guys. And then we can move on to our next row, which will be working a single crochet into a single crochet. Whereas right now we're working a single crochet into a chain, which is like our starting base. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish my row of chains, and I'll meet you here at the end. Okay, so I've made it to the end of my row here. You can see all of my single crochets. So I've made it to the very end. I have 1 stitch left, and that is the stitch that's kind of connected to this tail right here. Okay, so this was our very first chain. So we're going to do the same thing where you insert your hook. You've got 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the first loop. Now you've got 2 more loops, yarn over and pull through both. So now we want to turn our work. So assuming we want to continue working with a single crochet, you're going to do a chain 1. So how you do that is kind of how you started with the chains. You're going to yarn over, do a chain, and turn your work. Okay, so that was our last stitch we did here. We'll go over it one more time. So I've got my last stitch here, kind of attached to my tail. I'm going to insert my hook. I've got 2 loops. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull through 1 loop. I've got 2 loops. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And then I'm going to chain 1. So yarn over, pull through the loop, and turn my work. And then sometimes you'll have kind of a gap right here. I just like to tug on the tail to close that gap. Okay, and now we've worked our first row of single crochets. So now continuing on, if we're assuming that your project is all single crochets, which you can do, you're no longer going to skip the first stitch, kind of like we did in that first row. You're going to want to work a single crochet into every single one of these stitches in your project. And then at the end of each row, you'll make a chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, so single crochet all the way across. When you reach your last one, do a single crochet, chain 1, turn your work. So now that we're here, all we're going to do is insert our hook, kind of like this, and just continue on. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And you can tell which one you need to go into next because this one right here, as you can see, has a stitch coming out of it. And then you can see the next hole is right here. And when you put your hook through, what you should see if I can open it up, is there's kind of 2 loops on here, and they kind of look like a V. You'll yarn over and pull through that V, and then yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Okay, so this is our stitch coming out of here where you can see the hole's a little bit bigger. And we'll go into this next stitch right here. And you're just going into the center of the stitch. Okay, so when I kind of pull up on the stitch, you can see there's like 2 loops right there. They kind of pull apart and make a V. That kind of counts as 1. So you'll yarn over and pull through that 1, and then yarn over and pull through 2. So we just worked in that stitch where the hole's bigger and your single crochet is coming out. So you're going to want to work into this next stitch right here. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through two. And go ahead and continue along with your single crochet. And then once again, when you reach the end, you'll do a single crochet in your last stitch, chain one, and turn your work. Then you'll just continue that pattern all the way along. So now we've got our second row of single crochet here. And that's it. And you can really make a lot of different things with a single crochet. You can make clothes, you can make household items, you can make pet items, you can make blankets. The single crochet is a really good stitch to use for very tightly crocheted items. So if you're wanting something to be tighter and more warm, you'll want to use the single crochet. It will take you a little bit longer to make something with the single crochet because the stitch is a bit smaller and more tight. But if you're wanting to make a really warm blanket or a really warm sweater, or maybe some really tightly crocheted placemats, this is the stitch that you're going to want to use. And that's all I've got for you. So hopefully this was informative and you were able to get started on your crochet journey. If you have any questions at all, this is my first tutorial of hopefully many. So if you've got any questions or if something was unclear, please feel free to leave a comment and I will respond to you and help you out as quickly as possible. Thank you all so much for joining. Until next time, goodbye.